Hi guys, happy Wednesday. Today is December 28th. I'm literally having to keep my days straight because every day there is something happening and it's all amazing. But it's like the closer we get to January, the more I'm getting excited about the new structure of my channel coming 2023, how I'm going to be doing things different, and it's all becoming very real the closer we get. So I'm like, dang, okay, let's buckle up and get excited and get going. Change is just something it's difficult for me, and let me know in the comment section below if change is something that's difficult for you as well. I know that change is necessary, and I know that change is important and positive and good, and is something that keeps things interesting and lively, and honestly does a lot of good things. So I'm all about change and giving it a try. It's just I also get very comfortable, and I don't know, it just brings a little bit of easiness to it and peace of mind because you have in mind a way of doing things. And sometimes that's great because again, it makes things easier. You get not stuck in a rut, but you get caught up in just a process and way of doing things. But I've noticed that when I do get in this process or way of doing things, when I get into that easy mode of everything is kind of the same, then things start to get boring. And I don't want to get boring. I want to be inspiring and have a lot of fun and shake things up and just kind of do something new. You know, something new is a lot of fun. So me having a hard time with change and going into 2023 where it's complete change and complete new, it's like, oh, okay, I got this. I got this. And I really do. And I'm gonna have a lot of fun. And I hope you have a lot of fun too, because a lot of what I'm going to be doing in 2023 is just really trying to connect more with you and do more things that I think you're going to enjoy. And I have you in mind for everything that I have going on with my channel updates and changes and revitalization, I guess you could say. So it's all gonna be great. But yeah, as we get closer to 2023, I'm just like, here we go, buckling up. All right, let's have fun. And one of those new things that I'm doing is the Crochet Along. Did you guys see my video that I just released yesterday where I am introducing the Crochet Along temperature blanket / sampler blanket? I know I talked about it with you guys last week when I shared with you the yarns that I was picking and trying to decide, do I want to just go with the size 5 weight yarn? Do I want to just go with the size 4 weight yarn? And then ultimately I couldn't decide, so I'm just going to do both. It's going to be interesting, and I actually appreciate it because I know that the size thickness of the yarn will make a difference in the pattern, and it will affect the size of the overall blanket outcome in the end. So I did some research, or I didn't do research, my business manager, she did some research on other temperature blankets made with thicker yarns and how it can be a disaster done certain ways because the yarn is just so thick. It produces this monstrosity of a project. But I'm like, I really love this yarn and I really want to commit to the size 5 weight yarn because I just love the colors. I love the fiber. I love everything about this yarn so much. I really want to try it and see what I can do, you know? So I'm giving it a go. But I understand after doing more research on temperature blankets that size 3 weight yarn and size 4 weight yarn are typically the yarns used for temperature blankets because they have the definition and they have better control over the size of the overall project, the blanket that you make. So yeah, it'll be overall a fun learning experience. At the end of 2023, I'm sure I'm going to have learned so much. And another reason why I absolutely love being on YouTube and teaching crochet and doing this whole crochet YouTube channel is I have learned so much myself. And yes, I'm teaching and I'm showing what I already know, but as I'm going and the projects that I'm wanting to do and try and new experiences that I'm wanting to experience, such as the Crochet Along and the temperature blanket, those are things that I'm just thrilled about and I can't wait to get started. I have done a sampler blanket on my own before, just for myself in the past. So I have experience working with I have experience working with sampler blankets or working multiple different types of stitches together in a project. I know what to expect. I know how to figure out stitch count requirements. I know how to work things together. I even know how to take two stitch count requirements that are vastly different and make them work together. I know some ways of finagling the stitches to make it work. It is interesting and different, but I can do it. But I want this temperature blanket crochet along sampler blanket to be smooth transitioning between different stitch types, and I want to have a very fun and pleasant and cool experience as we are going along in this project, one that everyone is enjoying. And so that's my overall end goal, is for everyone to have a great time, especially since this is going to be a project we're going to be doing for an entire year. I mean, that's another thing that I'm really interested to see, because looking back on 2022, where I started the year, the ideas that I had for 2022, how they started off strong and great and eventually fell away because I learned a lot from the things I was doing, such as the kit boxes. I started kit boxes in January of 2022, and I learned through the process of those kit boxes of things that I would have done better, projects that I would have had involved in the kit boxes instead, learning so much about the cost and what I needed to have prepared and just the appearance and the functionality and just so much involved in the kit boxes. So I took those off. I stopped doing kit boxes because I want to revamp the project and bring it back better. Other things is I was doing Tuesday Lives. Remember when I was doing Tuesday Lives? I started doing Tuesday Lives to really promote the upcoming tutorial, talk about it, have an opportunity to answer questions, give you the materials for the upcoming video then on Tuesday, so that way you could gather the materials, be ready to go when Friday's video aired. But having all of this intention, all this great information, it ended up sounding repetitive. It ended up getting boring. And I was just like, wow, this is not my strength. I'm doing this, but I'm getting to the point where it is boring and it's no fun to watch anymore. So I'm hoping that this super long project that we're doing with this Crochet Along temperature sampler blanket, that as we're going, starting off January, super pumped, super excited, that I can keep that energy, that motivation, and keep the project exciting throughout the entire year. So that is in itself going to be very interesting to see at the end of 2023, just how to go, reflecting on the project after we've done it. Yeah, I'm very, very excited about it. And today I am going to be working up a bunch of swatches and organizing the blanket pattern in the way that I think I want the entire year. I want to give myself kind of an idea of how everything will look together, what stitches I will want to make one after another, how I want to assemble them and arrange them, and what will work with each other. So that is my objective for today. And I already have my crafters gatherers helping me out with picking which stitches to even choose from. So we are all kind of working together right now on this whole project, and it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited about it. Another thing that came up though, when I introduced the temperature blanket yesterday, I had 2 comments come up that just blew my mind. And I was like, that is such a cool idea, and I wanted to share them with you. So one comment stated that they are going to have a separate color that they're going to use for special occasion days, birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, weddings, or new baby kind of like things. They're going to have special colors they're going to insert into the blanket to signify special days of the year as they work along. And I thought that was awesome. I was like, that is a really cool idea, because this whole temperature blanket will become almost a calendar temperature blanket where you are just locking in special occasions and special things that happened in that year. And that's awesome. And then somebody else mentioned what they're going to do is they're going to include a blue thread on days that it rained. Now, this would be most special in regions where it doesn't rain very often, because when I used to live in Oregon and Washington State, it rained all the time. So that blue thread would be through most of the blanket. And so like that would be interesting for sure, but honestly there'd be so much blue thread that I would almost be looking for the days where there wasn't blue thread. But I did think it was interesting, that idea of if you wanted to include certain weather patterns that were coming up along with the temperature, if that's something significant and different for you and you want to mark that and like pull that out, have that be a part of your blanket, then that's super cool and super neat. So I definitely wanted to share those details or those options that you could include in your temperature blanket if you want to. For me, I'm not going to do that this time around, but next time I do a temperature blanket, I might choose to include something like that as an extra special, something different. You know what I mean? All right, so that is the temperature blanket thing coming up. So the other thing that I'm going to be doing new come January of 2023 is completely changing about my tutorial schedule. Instead of me doing one tutorial every single Friday, which I've been doing, and it's just been a lot. It really has. It's just been a lot. I am going to be doing one big tutorial that I'm breaking up into sections. So part of the tutorial will be released every single Friday. And how I'm gonna break this up is my first tutorial will be introducing, okay, this month's project is going to be this. And the video one will be, okay, me gathering my materials, how I'm gonna figure out what materials to use for this project. And I'm gonna break down why I picked the colors, why I picked the yarn, why I picked the crochet hook, the materials that I needed to make the project, why I picked those things, and how I can get it ready for the project, such as if I'm using a hank, how I turn the hank into a cake, and how I get everything ready to go, and just really dive into the material section. Then video 2 will be how I break down or design the project. So depending on whatever it is I'm making, how I choose the crochet stitches that I'm going to be using, how I get the swatch figured out for that item, break it down on how I want it to look, how I will get it to look that way, and you know, design it, how I design the project. Then video 3 will be me putting together the pattern, how I write the pattern up for the project. And then video 4 will actually be me showing you how to make the project. And in doing this, I'm answering a ton of questions. A lot of you who learned how to crochet during the pandemic, during COVID, you've excelled and want to learn how to do the next thing. You want to learn how to write your own patterns. You want to learn how to design your own projects. You want to learn how to sell. You want to learn how to just do the next step. And there's not a whole lot of videos out there showing you how to do that. So what I'm going to be doing is really breaking down my projects and doing that along with you. So basically I'm going to be creating these projects the entire way through with you, which is going to be really, really cool. I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to see how this works. And this is going to be my experiment for 2023, is going about doing this. Now there will be times where I will be able to slip in regular tutorials throughout the month, because this is going to allot me some time to be doing a lot of the things that I have going on behind the scenes, such as the Crochet Along temperature blanket, such as the main project. I'm going to be still doing my Tuesday techniques, where I'm going to be releasing videos of different crochet stitches, different techniques. So my Tuesday videos will still be there. And then of course I will still have my giveaways, and then my crafters gatherings and my members only lives. So those are all going to stay very present. But I'm just going to be trying to buy myself some time, take it slower, be better, and offer more with my tutorials than what I'm doing right now. So I'm very excited to do this and see what, by doing this, what opens up for me, the amount of creativity I'm going to be just exploding and having fun doing. Now, all those tutorials that you guys are wanting, I may or may not be able to bust out video tutorials, but I can absolutely bust out a bunch of patterns for you. And as the popularity and the pattern grows, then I will do a tutorial for it, such as the hippo that I just made. I'm 100% gonna release a pattern for it. A video tutorial will all depend on the popularity of that pattern. The fish beanie, the dead fish beanie that I made for my daughter, she loves it. She just absolutely loves it so much. It just has literally worn it every single day since Christmas when I gave it to her. I will release the pattern that I made for that, and I will only do a tutorial depending on its popularity. So again, it gives me opportunities to make these amazing, fun, creative projects. I will release lots of patterns on my website, and then based on the interest of the people, I will determine which tutorials to make off of those. So there's just, yeah, a lot of change and awesomeness that's going to be happening in 2023, and I'm super excited to just dive more in, bring you guys in more to my process, really reveal to you more of everything that I do and where my brain goes and how I do what I do. And hopefully in doing this, you learn something too on how you can level up in your own crochet ability and do your thing. There's just so much, and there's so much I want to show you. There's so much that I want to tell you. There's so much that I want to do with you, and it's just me slowly trying to chisel away at that in creative ways. You know what I mean? Next, I want to talk to you about, or share with you, a very special Christmas present that I got this year, because I think that you guys are gonna love this. So Hannah, my bestie, who is selling her book on my website right now. By the way, if you still are interested in buying her book, if you buy it right now, you get 20% off your entire purchase on my website through the end of December. So December 31st, you get 20% off of everything that you wanna buy. So if you're still interested in getting her book, which I really hope that you give it a try. Those of you who have already purchased the book, thank you so much for doing so. So if you're interested in getting a kit or getting that pattern and you want a big discount, get the book. All right, so I want to show you this incredible book that Hannah got me for Christmas. So I'm gonna go ahead and I put it back in the plastic wrap. I want to take this book and I want to display it, and I want to actually search and find more books like this because it just blew my mind. So look how old this book is. We researched it, and it was a turn of the century book back in the 1900s. The Home Art Crochet book, containing entirely new designs for lingerie, edgings, and insertions, borders for tray cloths and doilies, deep lace for tablecloths, and valances, motifs for inlet work, and Irish lace. Pretty crazy. So when you open this up, it's literally like a booklet magazine. It was like a monthly thing that was released. But let me show you some of the work that was involved. So everything in this book is, focus on the book, is this detailed, delicate lace. Let me go further in. Now, reading the instructions, look at these instructions. They are not very user-friendly. So I'm like looking at these, like, I barely briefly glanced at them. But I was like, this is gonna take a lot of concentration and figuring out everything that they are talking about and going over. But it was enlightening to see where crochet originated. Crochet didn't originate with blankets. Crochet did not originate with stuffed animals. So then you got all these fillet designs in here. crochet originated with delicate lace, very delicate string that you were working with. And a lot of the things that were crocheted were details for things. So details for clothing, details for tablecloths, details for furniture. It wasn't like a whole lot of full things. And a lot of other crocheted lace would be on dresses, like it would just be an overlay you would put on top of the dresses or in sections. And so really crochet originated being more of a delicate, dainty detail piece more than anything else. And I think, yes, crochet, well, a lot of knit. People did more knitting than crocheting at first. So people would knit socks. People would knit blankets, they'd knit sweaters. They did a lot more knitting. Crochet then hit the scene, again, starting with this tiny dainty things. And Hannah also got me these time sensitive, around the same time, very teeny tiny lace crochet hooks. There's so many of them. And then they have these caps. And I was like, I have no idea what those caps are. And apparently these caps go on top of the crochet hooks because they are so itty bitty teeny tiny that these caps here will slip on top of the hook to protect the itty bitty teeny tiny crochet hook. So that I thought was really interesting and really, really cool. And I even might, because I actually have a project from one of you amazing followers. Their mother made something out of lace that was crocheted, and the follower was hoping that I could deconstruct it, write the pattern, and create a pattern with it that maybe we can have a whole video on, like a throwback. Maybe one of my projects that I do one month is a vintage throwback project where we really dive deeper into the art of crochet. We talk about the materials that they used once upon a time and what was common way back in the beginning, and then work up one of those vintage projects together and kind of have that interconnectedness to this is what crochet used to be, you know, and let's give it a try. Let's see what we think. And I think I'm gonna make 1 month this year be one of the main project for the month will be a vintage crochet project that we can make together. So that was just really neat. And there's other books apparently out there. At the very back of this book, they have like all these other books referring to them, like check out the next edition. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so old. Where can I find these? And just kind of model them. The Craft of the Crochet Hook, Artistic Crochet, Beautiful Crochet on Household Linens, The Modern Crochet Book. like these oldie but goodie, like amazing books, and I think they're so cool. So cool. So that is what I have to share for you in this, or with you in this video. Just trying to break these videos down a little bit, like I mentioned, make them shorter, much easier to watch. The next video that I'm going to be recording is when I've had a couple different people, a couple of you followers, ask me how I organize my yarn, because I do seem to organize it a little differently than what I've seen other people do for their organization strategies with their yarn. And then I had somebody ask me how I store or organize my scrap yarn. And so I think my next video that I'm going to record is really kind of diving over in my cubbies, revealing my cubbies, revealing how I organize my yarn, why I do it that way, and what I do with my not scrap yarn, but just yarn that I didn't use all of it. So what do I do with the rest of it? You know, so that'll be a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy that video too. So something to look forward to in the future. All right, guys, I hope you have an amazing Wednesday. My crafters gatherers, I will be seeing you later today. And yeah, I'll see you very soon with that next video. Bye, guys.